I was very suspicious of the guy because he just like, as if he saw me and then he was like walking towards me. But I kept running, I increased my speed. And then he looked like he was following me at first. But as I increased my speed, he stopped following me. And instead he crossed to the other side. So I think that was the guy that went to go and tell the others that, okay, there's one guy that's running alone. Maybe we can rob him. Because that guy seemed like he was following me. And when I increased my speed, he kind of crossed over so that not to spook me or something. And then just less than 3 minutes after, just before I got off the bridge, 3 of them came and robbed me with cutlasses and everything. Alright, so you can already see from the title, I was robbed in Lagos and it's 100% my fault. So that seems like a crazy title here. Like, how was I robbed and why is it my fault? So I think today is 24th and it's a Tuesday and the incident happened on Sunday. So that would have been 22nd. So yeah, I was robbed. My phone was stolen. My headphones were stolen. Everything I was with basically was stolen except one thing, my smartwatch. Crazy that they didn't actually steal that. Very interesting. But that was the only thing that I think was valuable that they didn't take from me. So I'm basically going to explain what happened and why it's kind of my fault. So on Sunday evening, I randomly decided to go for a run. Very random. Obviously, it's not like I don't run or I've never run before. I obviously go on runs here and there, but I hadn't run in a while. The last time I ran seriously last time I even ran at all was February 14th for a marathon. I was meant to make a video about trying to run a marathon without training, but I didn't end up making the video or haven't posted it yet, and I hadn't run since then. And for some reason, my head was just very cloudy. I was not in the best headspace and I wanted to clear my head. And I've already been taking walks for that. So when I wanted to clear my head, other times I wanted to clear my head, I would usually just go on a walk. But this time I said, let me go for a run since I've not run really well. Like, what are the running shoes for? You get me? So I said, let me go for a run. So, and I have this route I normally take. Where I'm staying is Omole, if you know where that is in Lagos, right? I'll probably use the map to like show you what I'm talking about. So I usually have this route I run in the evenings. I would typically leave by 6 or 6 something. And I would go to Bega. From Bega, I'll run down to Secretariat. From Secretariat, I'll go towards Ikeja. I'll pass ICM, Ikeja City Mall. Then I'll turn and come back to Omole. So that's the route I normally take. And that's like a 10-kilometer route. It will typically take me like an hour or an hour 10 minutes thereabouts. So that was like the route I should have run, honestly. Because if I left by 6, I would have been back by 7:15 thereabouts. And I've done that route like 2 or 3 times already. So I know that route. But for some reason, like I said, my head was very cloudy. I was very, disturbed upstairs. I was just like, I just needed to be outside for a while. So I went out. I was even making a video, funny enough, like I was recording the process. I didn't know if I was going to post it or anything, but as a creator, just always record just in case you decide to post it. And so I recorded me leaving the house. I was like, okay, I'm going for a long run. So I already kind of knew I was not going to follow the normal route because I was planning to run very long. I didn't know exactly where I was going to. In my head, I was like, okay, maybe I'll go to Iyanoworo, which is, for you, that might seem crazy. Why am I running to Iyanoworo? But you have to think that I'm already someone that runs. I've run a marathon before. I didn't finish the marathon. That's a different story, but I did 36 kilometers, which is more than a half marathon. So I have the capacity to run up to 30 kilometers. So you have to keep that in mind, right? So I was just running. And so when I got to Bega, I kept running, got to Secretariat. Now this is where I should turn. And I was even running faster than normal because I kept a steady pace. So I was like, keeping good times, because I think I stopped at Secretariat for a while. I sat down at the bus stop to rest a little bit. And when I checked my Strava, it said that my kilometers were like 6 minutes per kilometer, which is very good if I run like, not very good, but like it's decent, right? So I got to Secretariat, I rested a bit, and I kept running. So this is where I should turn, but I kept running forward. Where am I going to? In my head, maybe Iyanoworo, right? And then I'll take a bus back home, because I'm definitely not running back, because I know that to get to Iyanoworo will already take me some time and to already be very late. Funny enough, I wasn't thinking about security in any of this. I wasn't thinking about security at all. Sometimes, so another thing to note is that I've never been robbed before, never had my phone stolen. Like, I've never even had my phone stolen. So I have never experienced any of those things. So this is like a first time robbery, first time losing my phone. Any of this, like, never happened to me before. So I was not thinking, I like to think I'm very safety conscious, because at least when I was running, I was looking back, looking around, like trying to be aware of my environment. But for some weird reason, I just wasn't aware at the time the robbery happened. But that's let's not get there yet. So I kept running. This is now me heading towards like Ojota K2 side. I passed the motorway center, if you know where that is, and I was still looking around. And now, by now, right, I left the house by 6. So by this time, it was already. I was not sure. I hadn't checked the time in a while, but just by my estimates, I think by this time it would have honestly been maybe 7:40 or after 8. I'm not sure. Right, I hadn't checked my phone in a while because I wasn't really paying attention to my phone. I was just like, I was in my zone, in my element. I was trying to clear my head, so I was like just locked in on the run. You know when you get that runner's high, you're just like locked in. You're just like, just running and feeling like invincible. So I passed motorway center. I got on the K2 bridge, and just before that, there's one park there after the bridge. I think it's just before there that I looked back, and I looked back and I saw two guys coming from my back and one guy coming from my side. And the first thing I thought about in my head was like, oh shit. Like, I even said the F word. I was like, in my head, I didn't say it out loud. I was like, I'm actually being robbed. Like, I've never been robbed before. So that was like, I was like, damn, I'm going to lose my phone, lose everything on me tonight. Like, I already saw it. Like, I was like, damn, and this is 100% my fault. Like, that's honestly what I thought of. My life didn't flash before my eyes. Nothing. I just thought of, okay, I'm being robbed. That's crazy. And then they brought out cutlasses, and I struggled for a bit, right? Because obviously you have to struggle. You can't just give them what they want instantly. But they had cutlasses and they hit me on the head multiple times. I can't remember how many times, obviously, but if I had to just estimate, maybe like 4, 5, 6 times, they were hitting me repeatedly on the head. They also hit my knees. They were trying to move me off the road because I was on like the sideway, right? So they were trying to move me like into somewhere more dark so they can rob me easily. But I was like resisting, so I think as I was resisting, I kind of pushed back and I fell. So this scratch on my arm here, I'll show some pictures on screen as well. This scratch is not, I don't even think it's from them hitting me. This is when I fell. So they didn't really hit me like to injure me. Like, they were hitting me with the side of the cutlass. But one thing I thought of when I looked back is that when I passed motorway center and I got to the bridge, there was one guy that just came from my side. And I was very suspicious of the guy because he just like, as if he saw me and then he was like walking towards me. But I kept running, I increased my speed. And then he looked like he was following me at first. But as I increased my speed, he stopped following me. And instead he crossed to the other side. So I think that was the guy that went to go and tell the others that, okay, there's one guy that's running alone. Maybe we can rob him, because that guy seemed like he was following me. And when I increased my speed, he kind of crossed over so that not to spook me or something. And then just less than 3 minutes after, just before I got off the bridge, 3 of them came and robbed me with cutlasses and everything. So I think that was the guy that like kind of arranged them and told them, I was like, oh, there's see fresh meat, let's someone we can rob. Like, and honestly, this is probably going to shock a lot of people, but I'm smiling. I'm not super down, right? Why is that the case? It's because honestly, I don't blame them. Like I said, it's kind of my fault. I've told some people and they were like, bro, you can't really blame yourself. But I like to take the blame because honestly, why was I running at that time? Why was I running alone in the night by 8 p.m? So I know that some of you guys in the comments might also say the same thing. So I fully accept that the blame is on me, right? But still, you'd expect to be in a safe country, but we all know that Lagos is not safe. Like I said, I've never been robbed before, so I was feeling like Merlin, feeling invincible, like nobody can rob me. I'm God's favorite child. Like the protection of my life is too much. They will see me and they will just flee. But sometimes I even feel like this is also like a lesson, and God probably also allowed this because at least now I will not do this again. Sometimes, my mother will tell me, be careful, be safety conscious. But sometimes, until something happens to you, you don't really like to learn from other people telling you stuff. Until it happens now, I probably won't repeat the same mistake ever again because that's happened to me now. Obviously, I'll tell someone else and they'll probably still not want to listen until it happens to them as well. So, that's pretty much the story of how I got robbed and why it's 100% my fault, I guess. But yeah, like I was saying, why am I like kind of cheery and happy and not so sad? Because I'm alive. And I give all thanks to God for that, because these people had cutlasses. It could have ended way worse. I told my sister about it and she was like, I'm sad. I told her, don't be sad. The fact that I can talk to you and tell you I'm okay, be happy, because it could have ended way worse. I could have been injured badly. I could have been killed. So as long as I'm alive, I'm ecstatic, and phones can be replaced. They took my phone, my power bank, my money, my ATM card. I had some earbuds with me, headphone. What else was with me? I had my chapstick with me for some weird reason. I had a light with me as well because I knew I was running in the evening. So I had like a bunch. I had my running vest on too because I kind of mentally knew I was going to run a long distance. I already knew I was not going to do the 10k. I knew I wanted to do like at least maybe 20k. I don't know what I was going to think honestly, like I said. So that's why it was an interesting thing. It felt like I was actually asking them to rob me because why is bro running alone in the night by 8 p.m? Like I had so many opportunities to turn back, but I don't know. I just kept on running for some weird reason. But yeah, life happens and you learn from experiences, and you get to make a video like this that hopefully teaches someone a lesson, and people get to learn from your experience. And yeah, my iPhone 14 Pro Max was stolen, 1 terabyte. That's like the most painful part of everything because, like I said, it's a material stuff, but like it's not even the phone that is paining me. It's my information. I have some things backed up hopefully, but like the backup happens maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks. So at least since for the last 2-3 weeks, might not having backed up, and that would be hurtful to lose. But I'm alive. Nothing can make me so sad. I'm okay. I'm breathing. I get to make this video, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, Wisdom. That was a really touching story, and I share your pain because we've heard a lot about Lagos. We've heard lifestyle. We've heard the whole fast-paced nature of Lagos. So does this change or does this corroborate the fact that Lagos is not a habitable place? Does this change anything for you? With this experience now firsthand, how would you describe to the audience Lagos?
Okay, so this experience has basically validated my need to leave Lagos. I wanted to say I have nothing against Lagos, but that's a lie. I have many things against Lagos. But what I was trying to say is Lagos is for some people, but it's also not for some people. But I feel like you need to come to Lagos to experience it and then decide if it's for you. Especially if you've not lived here for over 2-3 years. Because I'm from Lagos State, but I didn't grow up in Lagos. I've only grown up in Abuja. So coming to Lagos is like, okay, I schooled in Lagos for like a few months, but I was within school, so I never really went out. So this is like my first time being in Lagos, like in Lagos itself. And we all hear the stories that Lagos is not super safe. Lagos is like, like a very busy, everybody's like a dog-eat-dog city, right? And this just validates that point, and it's very true. Yes, everybody's out to get you. Like everybody's out for themselves. Like the city's out to get you. Honestly, I was going to like try and shy away from saying that, but like the city's out to get you. You have to be very, very street smart, and yeah. But me, I'm leaving Lagos for you guys. I'm going back to Abuja or some other quieter city. Okay, so like I said, I lost my phone in this incident, and I'm making this video for documentation purposes, but something is also asking me to just put this out there. So if anybody watching this has a spare phone or wants to contribute in any way to my efforts to get a new phone, because that phone was like literally like my work station, because that's where I do all my editing, it's basically like my life in a way, right? And getting a new one is not going to be as easy as I would like it to be right now. So if you have an iPhone 15 Pro Max or 17 Pro Max, 1 terabyte, because it was also a 1 terabyte phone, and I was like super happy to have that phone because it was like also like my storage space in a way, because 1 terabyte, I only used up to maybe like 500 gigs. So I still had like 500 gig left to store stuff, and yeah, losing that is definitely painful. But so if you have, any way you want to help, if you have a spare phone or you want to contribute in any way, just hit me up on Instagram, or I'll also leave a link in the description of the video.
Amazing.
Thank you guys.
Amazing.